Good morning. How are you? This is Jim Whitehead, and I'm happy every day almost. I'll tell you the days that I'm not. Today we're going to talk about my favorite topic, one of the favorite. Of course, I love animals, and that is I am an animal channel, but every once in a while you have to kind of move off into things that are more current related to the things that are happening today. So today we're going to talk about politics in the middle. Now, one would say, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm trying to be as non-biased as I can be, just tell you some of the facts, even add a little humor. And today I'm going to do four weird things, illogical things, shoot yourself in the foot things. And you say, wow, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But I have an extra credit one. So if you can stay to the end, and I know that's just trying to get you to stay to the end, I will share with you a fifth issue that I saw yesterday, although it does go back to 2019 with our current president. Okay, starting out. Changes to transgender rights. Policies regarding transgender rights, particularly those related to passport, gender markers, and military service, generated significant controversy. Critics argued that these policies rolled back protections and were discriminatory. A recent example of this is that there has been legal pushback on the administration's changes to passport policies regarding transgender people. Okay, let me give you my opinion on this. And I know people get into transgender, we get into gay rights. Who cares? I've always looked at, as long as somebody isn't doing it to me or forcing me to do something related to whatever I'm talking about, people have a right to be who they are and who they feel they want to be. No argument. And yeah, the Republicans get into saying this is terrible. And, I hate to say, I don't really feel, they really feel it's wonderful. They're going after, just because, or any excuse to keep somebody out of the country. It's just not fair. And, trying to be, how would you say, sympathetic. And I am. And it doesn't hurt me to be sympathetic. When, somebody is a transgender person, I feel bad for them because I'm a male and I feel like I'm a male. I don't feel like I want to be a female. But even if I did, that's my problem, not yours. And making up excuses for, well, we're not going to let transgender people in. And, the ridiculous point that came up 2 weeks or so ago when they were talking about all the government wasting of money, and I'm going to be honest and straight honest. Anything you have to be very careful when anybody that's a Republican. I hate to do broad brushes on things. They don't tell the truth. You know, the old tell the truth and it will set you free. They don't tell the truth. And they tried to say that we had wasted a lot of money. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me put my phone on. Please excuse me. Your time is important. But, you know, they got into this big thing about we were spending money on trying to make mice into transgender mice. Yeah, that's not true either. So they were trying to say, well, we spent a big amount of money on trying to get it where, you know, our mice, we can make mice into transgender, male, female. I mean, come on. Don't be ridiculous. Oh. Okay, the next one is environmental regulations. The administration pursued deregulation in various environmental areas, including changes to clean air and water regulations and withdrawal from the Paris Agreement on climate change. These actions drew criticism from environmental groups and scientists and point out that they made no sense and are very illogical. We are in a every day increasing problem with climate change. And if we don't get our, you know what, in gear, we are going to continue going downhill. And, you know, when talking about when the election was just about upon us in November, I said, well, we know that if Kamala gets elected, she will continue the environmental care and help our country and the world. And when Trump became president, he, in essence, said, oh, this climate change is stupid, it's not real. And I think he believes that, which, of course, isn't very smart because you can look around you. I think I heard this morning that there were fires in New Jersey. So we're having fires where we never had them before. I don't think people are setting them. I mean, it's possible. But it just doesn't make any sense. And I've said before with this climate change issue, we as individuals can save ourselves money by making our homes a little bit more energy efficient. It doesn't hurt anybody, and it helps the world, and it helps our pocketbook. So there's really no downside. Now, one area that I'm working on is, as you know, we have solar panels, and solar panels are okay. They're all right if they're portable, in my opinion. They're okay if they're on a what we call a ground level installation, but the efficiency isn't really great. But what's coming on pretty strongly are basically forms of, I don't want to say windmill, because the president thinks windmills kill people and kill birds, and well, these aren't windmills. These are going to be home oriented. You put them up on a pole, and they have covered blades, and they generate electricity for free. And they have them so well balanced that it doesn't take very much wind to get them working and producing free power. We have an EcoFlow system with 3 batteries, and under certain conditions, or the conditions we have right now, they that unit would power our home, generally speaking, 10 to 12 hours. But we also have a small 800 cc bifuel generator so that we can charge our batteries and still keep going for as long as we need. It's basically a perpetual opportunity. The unit doesn't use very much propane, and it's clean functioning. So we can basically work on this and make sure we have something that is a benefit to us, but also saves the world a little bit. Okay, now let's talk about immigration policies. How can you be so mean? And I see it all the time. You're mean to children. You're mean to animals. Why? Does it make you feel any better? Well, this immigration has, and the policies have been ridiculous. It's all just been a political hotball. You know, it isn't really where they really care that much. And when they separate, and we recognize people coming from other countries, Mexico, let's say, and so on, and further south, you understand why they want to get away from what they're in right now. And a lot of it is related to danger related to military actions. So if I was a mother or dad in one of those countries and I had kids, and every day I had to worry about my kids not either being okay or not surviving, I would do whatever I could to ensure they had a better chance. What we found when these folks come to the United States, and of course, our current administration back in his first term was very interested in and giving the border guards the opportunity to shoot people. So here you have, I'm not saying they did, because I would, if I was a border guard, I could not and would not shoot anybody unless they were coming after me and they were going to kill me. Self-defense. But really having it where you just say, well, just to keep down the amount of people coming across the border, shoot them. Shoot them before they get in the United States. Shoot them over on the other side of the Rio Grande, or when they're going across the Rio Grande to get into the United States. Shoot them before they get here. Wow. Are you kidding me? Anyway, the administration's immigration policies included the travel ban and policies related to border security. It sparked widespread debate and local challenges. These policies raised questions about their legality and humanitarian implications. Again, you know, working together, doing things that are logical to help other countries, and instead of trying to carry a big stick, try to have it where you help them make their living conditions a little bit better so they don't need or desire to come to the United States. Okay. I know these are all weird, but true. All right. Now here we go. Trump, and I'm going to be honest, Trump did a terrible job with COVID-19. He was trying to make excuses, saying it was going to go away, indicated that we have cruise ships with all the COVID-19 people on it. So don't worry, we're going to be fine. It's going to go, away. Well, it never did go away. And we had in the high point of the COVID epidemic, we lost, besides people going through untold pain and suffering, we lost 1 million people. Now, those 1 million peoples are your mothers, your dads, your sisters, your brothers. None of us want to lose our loved ones. So, what I've seen again with Trump, he, in essence, said, we're not going to be involved with who. So it's like the old put your head in the sand, and if you don't see it, it doesn't happen. Well, believe it or not, even though I got through the main point of the pandemic, I ended up having 4 shots, and believe it or not, I caught it twice in the last 9 to 10 months. So, I've been there. And it wasn't fun. But, the virus itself is not as bad as it was back in 2020, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I never got into a point of feeling I was going to not be here anymore. I took what they call Paxlovid. You are supposed to start taking it before the 5th day, but the first day is better that you have COVID, but anywhere in between is okay. And what it does, I can't say I really enjoyed taking it, but you have about 5 days of Paxlovid, and you have to take it in 2 doses every day, 1 in the morning, 1 late at night. And what it does, and I guess it helped me because I'm here, and I didn't feel that bad. I knew I had an issue, but I didn't feel that bad. I got better and luckily live happily ever after. Although I'm being a little more careful on when they announce a new vaccine dose that's for current activity, I basically will make sure I get it. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Trump administration announced its intention to withdraw the United States from WHO. This decision was met with criticism from public health experts and international leaders who argued that it would undermine global efforts to combat the pandemic. This action was seen as many illogical due to the global nature of the pandemic and the need for international cooperation. And with us being involved with it or not being involved with it isn't going to make it any better or make it go away. And they have this awful tendency in both administrations of Trump of trying to ignore things that are a problem, not telling the public, and not working to help us do much better and survive. All right, let's go on to the extra credit. Now, if you've stayed to the end, and you hear people say this all the time, I want to thank you because, we get measured on content, viewership, and what we call watch hours. So if you go on for a second or two, I don't want to watch that, and you go off of it, I get a view, but I get no time. So that's not your fault. It's my responsibility to try to give you something that gives you the opportunity or the incentive to stay along with us. Okay, now talking about extra credit. I don't want to tell you who this is, but I think you already have figured it out. The extra credit, Donald Trump's statements regarding being, and this is true. Now, I saw it yesterday, and I thought it was current. But when I did a little homework this morning, he really said this in 2019. But it isn't where he's changed or acting any different than he did when he went back then. Anyway, Trump's statements regarding being the king of the Jews doesn't make any sense. That's illogical. And the chosen one. I'm going to be honest with you. My wonderful Jamie, 11-year-old Shih Tzu, the best in the world. All animals are beautiful and wonderful. She, if anything, is the chosen one, not Donald Trump. And when you see, and if I would be sitting here saying to you, I am king of the world and I am the chosen one, you probably would say, oh, poor Jim. He's lost it. And I don't know, maybe you'd start watching me more saying, oh, I want to see how many other weird and funny things and illogical things he's going to say. But anyway, his statements generated significant controversy and drew varied reaction. Here's a breakdown of the context and the responses. The context. These statements occurred in 2019 amidst the discussions about his support for Israel and his trade policies with China. We're having a big problem. I was going to do some drop shipping. And typically drop shipping works where you find a source of a product that you feel somebody's going to like. You get it at a very good price, and China fills that bill of being able to, because of their amount of workers and the costs, they can build things that are pretty good that you can sell or buy pretty inexpensively and sell them pretty inexpensively. It isn't where you have to mark it up so much. And I'm the type of guy in any of my businesses, you don't go for the big hit. You go for everybody's happy. I'm happy because I paid, I'm going to use a stupid number. I paid $10 for something and you paid $15. You're saying that's a good deal at $15. And I say, because I've bought it for $10, I'm simplifying it, but I made some money. And no one is punished. No one is a losing person. And I've said in many of my presentations, I function every day in what I consider win-win situations. No action with another person should be where I win, they lose, or I lose and they win. Those type of relationships can't last. And I'm telling you, they won't last very long at all. But if I feel I'm benefiting from what we're doing together and you're benefiting what we're doing together, we're in good shape. Anyway, he quoted a radio host who made these claims and then later stated, I'm the chosen one in relation to his trade dealings with China. These comments followed his remarks about Jewish Americans and their loyalty, which were widely criticized as invoking anti-Semitic tropes. The reactions. Critics argued that these statements displayed a Messiah complex and were inappropriate for a political leader. Yeah, if a political leader gets elected, and I'm still not sure that he actually did get elected. But and again, I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but when Elon Musk came in with $150 million and him being involved with a lot of different things with votes and counting votes, I don't believe, because some people say, well, I probably, with his Starlink satellites, he changed the voting machines. No, I don't believe that. But I do believe that some of the money, or a lot of the money put into the political Republican side, helped pull votes away from Kamala. I'm sorry, I always have trouble either one way or the other, either right or left, black or white. But anyway, this is very inappropriate for a leader, because a king has the total rule. We, in our wonderful country, developed, and our forefathers were unbelievable in reference to this, saying that no one is a king. We don't have kings. We have three equal branches of our government: the executive branch, the president; the legislative branch, which is Congress; and unfortunately, because of their fear of what can happen with Trump, they basically are afraid of him, and they're doing nothing to stop this. Democrats could be doing better. They're getting better slowly. They are in the minority party right now. So, admittedly, they can't just step up and go, we're just going to vote for impeachment and have it where it happens, unfortunately. So, we have no king. Keep saying that to yourself. Anyway, Jewish leaders and organizations expressed concern with some labeling the comments as dangerous and offensive. They highlighted the historical use of such language to incite anti-Semitism. And I look at, I've worked with Jewish people, non-Jewish people. I'm not Jewish, but where you get into, there are some wonderful Jewish people, and there are some not so wonderful Jewish people. That's normal. There are good blacks, there's bad blacks. There's good whites, there's bad whites. So we all have our good and bad, and we have to try to work together. We kind of try to flush out the real bad people that break and do things where they're doing crimes. Anyway, some of his supporters defended the statements, interpreting them as expression of his strong support for Israel. The comments also sparked discussions about the intersection of religion and politics and the potential for such rhetoric to be decisive. So the key points here: that language used carries significant religious connotations, and its application in a political context is highly sensitive. The history of anti-Semitism includes accusations of Jewish disloyalty, making such comments particularly problematic. The concept of being chosen has deep religious roots, and applying to a political figure can be seen as highly controversial. I have the words right in front of me. I know you're saying, come on, Jim. I do admit, when you're doing live presentations, you have to kind of keep a couple balls in the air at the same time. In essence, these statements were highly divisive, and generated considerable debate about the appropriate use of religious language in politics. We have to have a separation of church and state. You have probably heard that, and I'm 75. I've heard that all through my career and all through my education. Church and state cannot be combined and should not be combined. So, anyway. All right. I think that's about it. I want to thank you very much. You know, and again, I say every time, I would certainly love to have you make any comments to me or questions. Because when somebody gets a question, they say, "Yay! I've got the opportunity to come on back down to see you and answer the question." So anyway, thank you very much for being here, Jim Whitehead, All Power Group, Phoenix Animal. And this part of what I do is called Politics in the Middle. And you're seeing Jamie, Big O, or Big Orange, Miss Perfection, and Big Gorilla. They are the members of my team. And boy, am I lucky to have a team made up of these animals. So anyway, thank you for being here. And if you did stay to the end, I owe you. Thank you very, very much.